What is a home service business that you would recommend based on all that experience?
Look for something in your area that isn't being served well or is underserved that you are excited about and start there. You would think a company that does $30 million in revenue last year would have more than close to 700 reviews. But the reality is people are people. And even if they have an excellent experience with you, it's still begging them.
We're talking to Randy Hurtado today. We're going to be talking about referrals, getting more of them, and probably a lot of other stuff because I'm just getting to know Randy on this one. And thanks for joining, Randy. Feel free to talk about that or give a little background. Either way.
Yeah, no, we'll start with the background so people know who I am. I've been in the industry now since the end of 2015. The company that I'm a co-owner of now, or companies that I'm a co-owner now, was originally started in 2009 by my partner, Derek Tanner. That's where the DT came from originally. I originally had started with the company, truth be told, as a secondary option. I had a 24-year career in IT security consulting, which obviously has nothing to do with home services. My mom had 4 boys. Three of them were in construction, and the final was a computer geek, which was me. And ironically enough, years went by, and I ended up in that realm. So the genesis of my career in the roofing world is I was officing next to DT Roofing. And I was just being my usual, extrovert self and going saying hi to my colleagues in the hallway. And DT Roofing was one of them. I'd have lunch with Derek every once in a while, and we'd talk business, we'd talk life. And the company that I had my largest contract through, they got bought out for $100 million, and they didn't need my services anymore. And right around that time is when I really started to enjoy my conversations with Derek in regards to the roofing world, even though I knew nothing about it. Whenever he would tell me some of his woes that he'd have in business, I understood business. I just didn't know the actual product that he was selling. And so what I would do is on evenings and weekends, I would sell for him just so I can learn the industry to provide more value. I was making good money doing what I was doing. So it really wasn't money motivated initially. But when I didn't have a career anymore, it certainly became that, it became my motivation as to, I need a job. So I started selling for him, and that slowly grew into running the sales team, growing the sales team, and shortly, probably a year and a half into going from a $1.8 million company to a $5 million company in that small amount of time, it gave me the confidence to ask for equity. And I had already just spent 18 of my 24 years in IT security helping a company grow to the point where they can exit for $100 million and not seeing anything out of that. So I had learned a lesson there, and that was, when you see something that you're a part of growing, that you're contributing to, get in early as often as possible, because otherwise you're going to be in the same situation in several years. And so
I do wish one of our earliest clients 8 years ago was when I made his first website, and now that we helped him go from under 1 million to 10 million plus now, and wish I was I kind of wish I was part of that a little bit more on the equity side. And now he's trying to get equity in us. It's funny, back and forth. We've been just sniffing around each other for the whole 8 years, just like, should I be in your company? Should you be in my company? It's fun.
sure.
It's fun. It's complex though, right? Having a business partner, and not having full equity. Are you 50%? Sorry for asking into make questions.
No, these are full disclosure. Yeah, no, we're 50% all the way down. The only company we have that we're not equal partners is because we took on a third partner in order to start the company, and that's Patriot Garage Door and Service. We partnered with a gentleman in our area who knew the garage door business. Well, he understood the daily ins and outs of the installs and the product and what have you. He was going to start his own thing, approached us to find out if we would be a customer of his. We only worked with him ever, even though he was working with a different company, and we liked him. Didn't really care for the company he was working for, just because the back office stuff was always screwed up. There's billing issues or what have you. And so when he approached us, initially he wasn't looking for a partner. He was looking for a customer. And I just simply asked the question. I said, well, have you considered what that looks like? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, you have a lot of experience, but there's a lot that goes into starting a company. There's a lot of seed money that you're going to need to be relevant, unless you just start the old fashioned way, word of mouth, that's it. And you just build from there, which is going to take 3 to 4 years to get there. I said, we have the customer base and the capital. You have the know-how. Why don't we partner and start a company? And
question for you, Randy. So can you give me all the different types of home services you guys have? And then I know you got roofingreferrals.com as well, which is like helping roofers get more referrals. But what are the home service businesses?
Yep. So we have DT Roofing, which is a residential roofing company. We have DT Commercial Roofing Systems, which is our commercial roofing company. And I'll go into, if you'd like to, why we separate them, but I spoke about it on stage at the Roofing Process Conference. We have Kingdom Builders Construction, which is a home construction company. We do complete builds, remodels, additions, patios, pergolas, the whole outdoor experience, what have you. And then we have Patriot Garage Door and Service and Precision Exterior Cleaning. And then the final is Guardian Seamless Gutters.
Yeah. So 7?
So it's 6. You got one on there somewhere. I think you were adding. You were adding.
Strong suit. Okay.
You were adding
referrals would be 7. Okay. Cool. So cool. If you had to sorry for the occasional speed round here, but if you had to choose one of those businesses, which one would you like for instance, for a guy like me I'm probably going to have a home service business at some point, Randy. I can't see all this awesomeness and not want to just do it a little bit more granularly someday. Maybe it won't be for 10 years, 20 years, but I'm probably going to have one.
Right.
What is a home service business that you would recommend based on all that experience? 6 home service businesses. How would you, what home service business would you recommend if somebody was just trying to?
Well, truth be told, that'd be like asking a father to choose his kids.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about just straight revenue.
Well, let's say a random guy like me, if you're just giving somebody advice on the street.
Yeah, I'd say start with something you're passionate about. Roofing was a passion. As I started to get into the industry, it's because my prior life, corporate America was my customer. And so it wasn't uncommon for me to spend 2 weeks at the Pentagon with the Office of Secretary of Defense, talking to a bunch of gov people about how to keep China out of the nation's infrastructure. Really, really boring conversations. Cool final product, because we were able to go in there and lock it down. But it wasn't enjoyable. I'm a people person. I love talking with people. And so as I started to dabble in the residential side, I really enjoyed dealing with individuals instead of the corporations. And so that's what really geeked me up. The roofing side is what was the platform that launched DT companies as a whole. So I'd say the responsible answer would be look for something in your area that isn't being served well or is underserved that you are excited about and start there, because you can launch other companies from that. But like I spoke about at the Roofing Process Conference, you can tend to be a master of none, because if you're out there trying to be everything to everyone under one company name, you tend to, and this from a marketing standpoint, trying to get out there and SEO Randy's, roofing, siding, gutters, the even example I used from the stage, fried chicken and oil change. It's nobody's getting their oil changed by that dude because he has no identity. He's trying to be everything to everyone. And so start somewhere where you can build.
I'd go there once just to see what the chicken was like. But.
Right. And then you realize I use the oil from the oil changes to cook it.
Just for a counterpoint to this argument, have you been to Fuel City in Dallas? The tacos at Fuel City?
Oh, no question. There are some gas stations that have some amazing
Oh
fried.
my God. If you haven't been to Fuel City and had tacos in Dallas, next time you're in Dallas, sneak over to this little gas station kind of in the armpit of the city.
Hmm.
Just Google Fuel City tacos, I think, and then and just get like six of them.
I'll have to try
Get
it.
six. Yeah, and like I'm just telling the audience, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you've already had these, right? Like, or you have
No,
breakfast.
no, you're speaking to me just
Oh
as
my
much.
God, you gotta. I'm sure. Here's the thing, too. Minnesota boy down in Texas, like all the tacos were way better than everything we have. So you got to take it with that grain of salt. But like, yeah, you guys have way better tacos than us. And I'm just thinking about those Fuel City tacos, right? Every time I go, like people are like trying to go to fancy restaurants and stuff. Like if I'm down in Dallas, I'm like, okay, well, we at least have to stop at Fuel City.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's a side note. But most oil change places are not going to have good. No, it's a great mindset. And you're right. From an SEO perspective, having a focus on your website with a tight level of services and trying to be famous, that brand is famous for it too. I've also seen the same, and I keep talking about this on the roofing podcast, but like as we try to add on plumbing and HVAC as our I have separated out my personal brand, which is weird, to Tim Hook. But the whole thing is like I know the most important question in marketing is who is it for?
Yeah.
And for me, who is it for is different in this second, vertical.
Right.
So it's like understanding your audience and really getting that dialed in. And
Right.
when you have too many services on one website, you could essentially, let's say you did like a DT home services suite and it was all on one website. The tough part,
That website does exist. It's called the dtcompanies.com.
okay, yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, but like it certainly in many cases can be much harder to rank because
Yes.
you've got this, you know, diverging interests. Like it's also in the consumer's mind.
Well, the way we use that page is it just displays the various companies. And when you click on DT Roofing, it takes you to DT Roofing's
Yeah,
website.
and you're probably not trying to SEO that
Not at
website.
all. Not at all.
That's a holding company kind of style thing.
Correct.
Which is beautiful. It just kind of like then shows people like your suite of
Yeah,
businesses.
it's the perfect balance of we are both a company that is trying to serve multiple verticals while being individual companies serving that vertical well. And so like and this is how we know in our particular region if we're doing our job correctly. In our county every year, which is about 50,000 people, we have it's called the Best of Hood County, right? And every year the local big newspaper does a beauty contest, basically. Who's your favorite plumber? Who's your favorite electrician? Who's your favorite roofer? Over the last 4 years since we've been doing this, DT Roofing's won top roofer. Patriot Garage Door and Service is one best garage door company. Kingdom Builders Construction has either won it or been runner up in the construction division. So our companies, we're doing it as if those are our only companies. So each one of our companies has their own staff. There's very few employees in our company that are cross, and like our CFO, obviously, she handles everything money related for all of our companies. Our comptroller, but our office staff. When you walk in to the front door, you have DT Roofing over here, Patriot Garage Door over here. Next door, the suite, because we own the building that we're in, so we have two suites in it, and then we have tenants in the other locations. And Kingdom Builder Construction is next door, and they have their own staff. And so it's important to do that because, one, when you're looking at separate books, you know if you should be doing that or not. Sometimes you get into something out of passion but realize you're not great at it. And so you need to stop feeding that beast and keep that money tied up in the businesses that are actually businesses and not just really expensive hobbies. And so, yeah, that's essentially what we've done is we've set ourselves up to We built DT Roofing to be the local 11 years in a row voted best roofer. Everybody knows DT Roofing. So then as we started to launch new companies, it was Kingdom Builder Construction, a DT company. Everybody knows that DT logo. And so Patriot Garage Door and Service, a DT company. Precision Exterior Cleaning, a DT company. And so it allows us to, it gives us permission to go to our customer base and say, if you like that experience, check us out over here, without trying to be everything to everyone under one name.
And without talking even about revenue, the fact that you guys have 600 plus 5-star reviews is it's telling about the scale. I think 5-star reviews and the quantity of reviews, it's like, to be able to do the amount of business to get over 500 reviews kind of shares a little bit of scale.
Yeah. It's actually really hard. People think that, you would think a company that does $30 million in revenue last year would have more than, close to 700 reviews. But the reality is people are people. And even if they have an excellent experience with you, it's still begging them, hey, I still haven't seen your review, And so, and then of course, you're always going to have every once in a while that customer you could never please no matter what you did. And so you don't expect a review from them if they do give one. But
that's an extraordinary amount of reviews. That wasn't me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. No, that was more of an encouragement to somebody watching this going, man, I'm only at 300. Like, that 300 is a lot of reviews because it's difficult to even get customers that are happy. I actually did a little blurb for you on one of your videos when you talked about reviews. And I shared that a lot of folks think that the only people that they can ask for reviews from are people they exchange dollars with. And it's absolutely a misnomer. What is Google? What is a Google review? It's a review of that company, right? So if I go to a church and then I give a Google review to that church, I didn't exchange any dollars with them, but I'm giving, hey, when I walked in, I was greeted. I love the assortment of donuts and coffee, and the pastor brought the message. That's a review, right? I didn't give any money towards that. And so you can, in our company, it's not abnormal for us to ask for reviews from someone. We just went out and did a free roof inspection where there was nothing wrong with the roof. Ask for a review. They're giving you, they're writing out their experience of your company. Same with our subs. We ask our subs, like, hey, if you like working with us, and we wait until after a year or so, the relationship's really strong. Can you mention what it's like to work with us as a sub? Because when a prospect is looking at that, they see this, it's not just customers that are good. It's like, I use this company for all of my real estate inspections, and they are Johnny on the spot. And they're seeing an eclectic collection of various people types that are using and interacting with us and are happy.
So Rilla allows you to listen to it's an AI in your pocket. Listens to the appointment. It's pretty crazy what it can do. It gives a script, gives everything they said. It breaks down some statistics for you.
Analyze talk ratio, interactivity, like how you and I are interacting back and forth. Longest modeling, like all those things.
This is the shit that I most believe in AI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Enhancing the
You're
user
about to put
experience.
math and data around something that used to be my magic skill.
Absolutely. And there's levels to service, right? Like, first level, happy, fine. Let's say good. Then there's like review level. I'm gonna advocate for them a little bit.
Right.
And then 5-star them. Even further than that, maybe like a video testimonial or something, right? Like, and then we've got referrals. God, I'm so incredibly grateful. This past couple of weeks, we've just had a bunch of client referrals for us. And it means the world to me because we work our butts off. And sometimes this job is thankless. People hate marketers. But God, it feels so good when you get a referral as a business from another customer, right?
Huge compliment.
And there's other people that can refer you, and we can get more referrals. And it's almost like everyone wants to live off of referrals. No one really wants to do marketing. Everyone wants it to just be natural. I'm a freak of nature. I love marketing. For some reason, it's fun to me. Even if y'all, my customers flooded us with referrals. I will market my butt off because it's so fun and I'm a practitioner. I'm gonna market hook like hard. You haven't noticed, right? But like the question is there really systems that we can put in place to create more referrals on a regular basis? Are there really systems?
Yeah.
Or do we just have to wait?
Right. So the root behind the word referral implies that there was a relationship to begin with. And I learned that a long time ago. When I got into the roofing world, one of the benefits of getting into an industry you've never been in before and really don't have any experience is utilizing tools that you used in prior jobs, right? And in my prior world, LinkedIn was a huge tool for me. I'd go out and I would prospect in LinkedIn, build these relationships with CIOs, with IT security directors, people that were my end customers. And not only would I end up selling them my solution, but they would send their buddies my way too, because they want for their buddy that does their job at a different company what they got out of it. And so a lot of my business was referral work. Yeah, the company would feed me opportunities that I would chase, but a lot of the time my funnel was full of referral customers. Sometimes the referral was, a guy who was with one company that we implemented our solution, and then he moved to a different company and got his boss over there to call me to, and so it's constant revenue.
How good does that feel? That's the best feeling.
And it's from relationships, and that's actually what generated our roofing company centric product that has nothing to do with our consumers, which is roofingreferrals.com. It was this solution is a culmination of years of success that we have had building relationships with real estate agents, insurance agents, and property managers, so that we become their sole source for everything roofing. And
so I know that the temptation will be to go into the product details here.
Yeah, no.
Can you give us like 10 minutes on like the principles that people can apply even if they don't use your product?
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we're providing value even if they don't make a purchase. And I think if you do provide value, they're more likely to want it. But yeah.
And one thing that our customers would tell you is that their first interaction with us generally is a long call with me on the phone where I basically tell them all the secrets. And then I tell them, and then I follow it up at the end with, if you're interested in seeing this in action, I'll set up a demo with Ryan and he'll take you through the actual product. But I do that already. So I'm happy to share, what it is that creates this program. And that is, for example, real estate agents. Most of the time, a roofer's interaction with a real estate agent is a text or a call where they're super excited, not good excited, but fired up and worried because a home inspector just got off of a roof for a house that they're either trying to sell or buy with their client, and something came up on the roof. So they send over the report, option period's up in 3 days, need you guys to get out there and inspect the roof. Well, now everybody's fired up, right? And in some cases, it really gets the buyer concerned because they read issues with the roof and they know roofing, HVAC, and foundation, top 3 things that you need to worry about when you're buying a new home. And so we get out there, we do the inspection. Most of the time it's like, yeah, the counter flashing is supposed to look like that. The home inspector doesn't know what he's looking at. You're good. What we did is we learned early on, and like I said, not being in this industry, I went back to my core, was create a value for these individuals where you're part of their process instead of just being a response to an emergency. And so what we would do is we train our local realtors to get us involved early and often instead of when their hair's on fire. So the example I just gave, have that realtor reached out to us prior to listing the property and made us part of the process. Hey, I need you. Yep, I'm getting ready to list it. It's going to go up on MLS on Monday. Today, my roofer is going to get out there to take a look at the roof, make sure the home inspector doesn't find something that scares a prospective buyer. Seller is going to be all for that, right? Because they don't want to scare buyers. And then we're going to give them one of three responses. Either there's nothing wrong with the roof, some general maintenance needs to be done to give this the DT thumbs up, or it's hail damage, wind damage, whatever, the seller needs to file a claim. So when we started doing that and changing the realtor's process, one, we started getting a lot more calls because they're like, man, this guy is just, he's not charging me for this, and it's part of our process. But we started getting a lot more roofs from it because we would find hail damaged roofs that the homeowner didn't even know it was damaged because they weren't home at 5 o'clock when the hail fell. And
What would you say to those people that kind of like hate the realtor leads?
oh, then send them to me.
Yeah.
And if you're not, you're sleeping on.
Why do you think some people do? Why do you think some people kind of hate that?
It's their mindset. One, they haven't seen the relationship through. The first few interactions with that realtor are going to be purely transactional with that realtor. But as soon as they have an experience, when they've experienced your roofing company, the way you guys do stuff, and you've even taken it to a level where you saved that deal and they made commission off of it, now it becomes slowly a relationship. Randy's helping me out. He's helping me feed my family and what have you. So you have to give a few interactions with each realtor for it to truly be an experience that they're worth. To them, it's worth, investing in more of a relationship than just this transactional roofer that I call every once in a while.
There's not like, okay, I'm just being cynical.
Yeah.
For the sake of the audience, I hope there's not just some realtors that kind of abuse the relationship.
But think about where they would abuse it. So they call Randy and say, hey, I've got another roof that I need you to inspect. Maybe the last 5 I've inspected, there was nothing wrong with it. All I'm asking for is an opportunity to find business for myself. So the fact that they'll call me every single time means that eventually, statistically, I'm going to get a roof eventually from this realtor. Now multiply that times dozens and dozens and dozens of realtors. I have a sales guy. He did almost $4 million this year last year in revenue. We have what in our and it's probably not unlike most roofing companies. We have self-generated leads, which are leads that they generate themselves. We pay better on those commission wise. And then we have company generated leads. Those are leads that are generated by the company off of billboards, truck wraps, Google Business, whatever the case is. The lead was generated by us. So when we assign that to the round robin, which is just a list of all the salesmen in order, we don't pay as well on those because those cost us money. So we have to pay for those, right? I have that guy that did the highest in revenue last year takes himself off a round robin most of the year. Because he doesn't want to waste his time chasing down the company generated leads because he has so many realtors and insurance agents contacting him daily to go and inspect another roof. So they're creating his funnel and he gets paid better on those.
Sorry to be I'm always, just so you guys know, like I'm always a little bit rapid on these because I'm assuming I kind of try to make these like 30, 40 minutes. I feel like I know that I cut people off sometimes. I'm just talking to the audience. I do it partly because I'm just keeping it moving along because then it's 30, 40 minutes. It's truck time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm thinking about trying to make it truck time so that somebody's going, across town and they could listen to this and then be done. And get value out of it. So I'm trying to keep it valuable. So that's my tone and the reason I do that sometimes. I know some people hate me for it, but because I get the comments. They're like, why are you cutting that guy off? He's brilliant. I know they're more brilliant than me. I understand. I'm just keeping it quick. So if you had to install systems at a new roofing company for referrals, would realtors be one of the first things you'd go after? Would that be the top tier?
I mean, if I was only given one, but no, I'd go after those 3 because.
So talk to me about the number 2 one. Let's go into number
insurance
2.
agents.
Okay, and then what is your system for that? Like, what would you recommend, even if they didn't buy your guys' course and software?
So the biggest issue people, and I'll keep this quick, is they go in, they're like, hi, Mr. Insurance Agent, here's my cards. If you have any customers that have any roofing needs, give me a call. I'd love to partner with you. And they're like, thank you so much. And then you walk out and they toss your cards in the trash or just leave them up there until they inevitably get thrown away. Our difference is we go in and we say, how many times have you written a policy? 3 months later, a pea-sized hailstorm comes through. You know dang well that didn't do any damage to roofs, but now you have people that you just signed a policy for 3 months ago filing a claim, and you're stuck with replacing the roof. Why is that the case? Because you never knew that roof had damage to begin with. Insert us into your process, and while you're writing new policies, let the new policy prospect know, I'm going to send my roofer out. He's going to inspect your roof, make sure we're good to go, and then we'll go ahead and sign on the dotted line. A lot of the time what happens is we'll get out there, there's damage on the roof. We get the homeowner to file a claim with their existing insurance company, because that's who should be replacing it in the first place. That's where the damage happened, under their guard. Get them to replace the roof. Now we deliver that customer right back to the insurance agent with a nice red bow and say, here's your customer with a brand new roof. Now your policy you were writing can be more aggressive because the risk score is way lower. Now write the policy. Now they love us because we just gave them their customer that they were going to sign with a brand new roof now. And so they keep calling, and they're part of our process. We're part of their process. Now, I'd be remiss not to mention that part of the reason why our program works and why we turned it into a company is because of the application that we deploy. Each customer has their own branded app that they have in the insurance agent or real estate agent's phone, that they just submit the request for the inspection through the app, hit submit. It comes right to Randy, because when they're registering, they choose who at the company they want to work with. It comes right to Randy. Randy gets notification. I go out there, do the inspection, do the entire inspection through the app, submit it back to them with the video, pictures, everything. It makes the process seamless too. And then I pay them.
You gave me my 10 minutes on the referrals thing, so you can feel free to talk more about the app. Well, what's the third one again, and what makes your guys' process special?
So the third one is property managers, which property managers are tasked with making sure that their customers' properties are managed and maintained. And so whether it's at the stage where a storm just came through and they need, they'll send us like 10 different requests, 10 different addresses. Hey, inspect all these roofs and tell me if there's anything wrong with them. Then they get these nice polished reports back that they can then put on the file for their customer, showing their property owner that they're doing their due diligence after a storm. But then we also get those roofs too, because we're like, yep, this one's hammered. This one must have been on the side of town that got really big hail, because this one is fine. As you can see, no damage. They're able to keep a file on that house on damage. And so they'll have us out like once a quarter just to do general inspections, because they know we're not going to nickel and dime them on repairs. If there's just a couple of exposed nail heads, we're going to take our caulk out of our truck and seal those nails, and no charge, because it's the relationship we're after. We're not. A lot of guys will either completely ignore a customer because the customer called in and said, I have a repair, right? Never let a customer diagnose what's wrong with their house. That was a mistake that was being made when I first came on. Was we would send our repair guys out to a customer that said, my turbine blew off my roof.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's great. It's a nice little $450 repair. But do you think that repair guy is going to get out there, and as he's traversing the roof to get to that turbine to replace it and seeing all the hail damage, he's going to say anything to you? No, because he doesn't make any money off that repair if he tells you the roof is damaged. So he's just going to do his repair and get on to the next one. So we changed our process to a salesperson, a project manager, has to be the one to go and initially engage the customer, determine if what the customer called for is the only problem. And if it is, then they take it from there. But if it's a damaged roof, then they'll go ahead and tarp that area and then walk the customer through the insurance claim process. Mm-hmm. And so, there's a lot of little things that if you just change your process a little bit, tweak it here and there, you see a huge benefit in the revenue side.
So you talked about the property managers thing. How about from existing customers? Do you have any key insights for getting more referrals from existing customers? I feel like if you did these 4 things well, you get this is endless referrals.
You might actually make $30 million in revenue in a year.
Yeah.
So that's actually what I've talked to our early adopters with that program. One of the questions that we received was, well, how are your other customers doing? I'm like, to be honest with you, we have a dozen customers and they're still onboarding. But I can tell you, we created this program. There was 8 million reasons why I created this program, because in 2023, $8 million of our revenue, of our $30 million in revenue, came from these three people types. So I know it works. It's not a potential. It could. I know it works. It's just
Just
about,
to round out the topic of endless roofing referrals, though, give me
yeah. So you asked me
your
how.
process on existing customers.
So you asked how we would get property managers to create more referrals beyond. Well, one, every new property that they acquire under their management is now a customer of ours, and then two, people tend to know people in their industry. Like, my garage door company serves other roofing companies, right? Because I know those roofers locally, and they respect me. I respect them, so they don't have a problem buying garage doors from Patriot.
Referrals from competitors. So we're just covering this topic of referrals just thoroughly. Referrals from competitors. That's real. That's a real source for us.
I get construction referrals too from another builder who says, I'm way overwhelmed. Call Kingdom Builder. They'll take care of me as well as I would, care of you as well as I would have. And so it's relationships. It really is. Relationships and communication. Those are the two keys to a benefit, to a business being successful.
This is a subscription to knowledge, the most in-depth knowledge that you can find in our industry. We're spending the money to make sure that our production value is so high that you'll actually absorb the information and feel like you're getting something premium at the Building Experts Institute.
Do you ask customers when they're like after they leave a review or anything, or if they give you a review? I want to just note. One of the best things I ever heard about this is this, I think it was a manager at Monarch. And I was at a Riva event with Mark Godair and Martin Pettigrew. I'm grateful that they work with us, and they've worked with us for several, more than a couple years now.
Great guy.
But it was a video of Cody, who's now a manager there, but he was a salesperson at one point. And he, I don't remember his last name, but he's talking about getting referrals, and he's like, I don't want to just. They get pumped up over there. They're like that kind of like,
yeah,
they're so cool. And he's like, I don't want to just punch the bag, punch the opponent. I'm gonna punch through the bag. To like, he's talking about punching through the bag, not just satisfying the customer.
Yeah.
Not just getting 5-star reviews, but punching through the bag.
I'm getting 3 reviews or 3 referrals.
To get referrals. So
yeah.
I'm not going to do such a great job selling this customer, making them trust me and love me, but I'm going to make them want to refer me.
Yeah.
Like then another one, Grant Cardone says it this way: is like, I want you to want to hire me.
Yeah.
I don't want to just sell like if I'm the salesperson on selling marketing services, and I think roofing salespeople could do this too. Is like, I want that customer to be like, how do I fucking hire Tim Brown to like market me somehow?
Right.
Like, and I think that is a really good mode to
go. You have to start. So the statistic I shared at the recent conference was, and this was something that somebody else came up with, but I think I learned it through Sales Transformation Group, was 90% of customers that are asked for a referral will give it, only 11% are asked. We start the process of asking for referrals from the onset of our relationship with that customer. We set the tone from the very beginning that as we work through this process, we're going to be asking you for referrals. And so just be ready, because that's how we built our business, is off of referrals. We're not ashamed to say that to them. Like and so they know when we're at the signing process, start thinking about 3 people that you would send my way as you're going through this process and experiencing this. Then once the build day happens, do you have those 3 people that you'd recommend? We can take one now if you want or whatever. And then closing out, collecting the final check. All right, who's 3 people that you can send my way, even if it's just for a free inspection or whatever. And so I have some guys that are really, really good at this, other guys that need to work on it. But referrals are one of the top 3 ways that we generate new business every year.
I'm going to definitely remind our other salespeople too that we just got our second one. I'm so excited. That's so fun. It's fun to have.
Growth is fun.
What's that?
Growth is fun.
Yeah, super fun. Somebody told me back in the day, essentially it's like, if we knock it out of the park for you on this project, like, one, you're helping them imagine themselves in that position.
Yeah.
Right. So not only do I want this sale, but remember, as we knock it out of the park for you.
Yeah. Not if. When.
Yeah. Would you be open to referring us? And for me, I also say, like, in the Facebook groups, like I'll ask directly, like, hey, and refer us in Facebook groups too when people ask. Like,
Yeah.
it's part of us. And I think that works for home services too. Like, hey, if you're part of these Facebook groups, hey, please refer us there too, because sometimes somebody will give like when we do an amazing job, that somebody will give a authentic testimonial in one of those Facebook groups in the comments, and I'll get more than one lead from it. It's not just the person who asked.
Well, and it's the psychology behind it is it's not just the customer wanting to help you. That's nice. The altruistic reasoning behind that is nice. But what they're really trying to do is repeat the feeling they had when they worked with you for their loved one, for their colleague, for the person that they care about that they would refer you to. So you have to almost ask yourself if at the end they're not willing to at least give you one or two when you're asking for three, what could you have done better for their experience to be so stellar that they want other people to have that feeling, that experience?
So I want to ask the audience real quick, if you had a great experience from this podcast, I'm going to ask a little different. If you got something from this that you're going to apply to your business this week, would you go to roofingreferrals.com and set up a demo with Randy for his product? I think that, like, what you're talking about, the principles are sound, very, very sound. And I think people should at least check out the product thoroughly. And Randy, how else can they be a part of this? And what are the first couple steps in your guys' sales process that they would go through?
It's actually a very simple one. The first one I like to have is I personally am involved in the onboarding process. So I like to have that initial conversation because my business partner for that company, Ryan Van Fleet, he's the implementer. He makes sure that the customer, him and Christian, onboard the customer from the standpoint of them saying yes. But because I'm putting my name on the line and saying, if you're investing in this solution, know that I'm saying it works. So if it doesn't, then it's on me. We have a Facebook page for our existing customers that they can go in and actually, hey, I was in front of a whole group of realtors today and this was an objection that I got. I'm in there going, yep, and this is what you need to say next time. Or call them back, text them back and say this. Because I'm actively involved in my sales team. I'm not in the field anymore because I'm working on the business instead of in it. I have an excellent VP of sales that takes care of our guys. But I always let them know, hey, if you guys are going to a realtor or for the first time or you haven't been there in a while, bring me. I'd love to get in front of them and really just pitch the concept of having a relationship with us. That's not just a transactional thing, that your goals are our goals. We want to see that house sell. We want to see that customer sign your insurance policy. We want you to be happy, your customers to be happy with your management of their property. And all that is done through those relationships that they establish. You know, the one part I left out of the whole pitch is that they also get paid on the back end for sending us a lead or a referral that we end up putting a roof on. So that makes it a little like Benjamin Morrow over at Roof Tiger says, that makes it a little sticky, right? Because now not only is it a convenient, not only have I embedded myself into their process, given them an app so they can easily submit the request for it without waiting for a text back or a call back or whatever, especially when time is of the essence. But then also at the end of it, they're going to get paid. It's a no-brainer, you know? And so, yep.
Well, thank you, sir. That's super cool. Note to end on. Podcast is put on by hookagency.com. Hook Agency all over social. Check us out. And
You guys check out Tim.
thank you guys for hanging out. See ya.